This video will show the basics of installing a Chase Doors ColdGuard cooler single slide motor operated door. It will also be helpful for freezer door applications. Please read and understand the installation instructions. This video is not intended to replace that manual, which includes important safety information. Always practice safe lifting techniques throughout the entire installation. Now let's get started. Installation will require the following tools: pry bars, C-clamps, wrenches, hammer, electric drill, vice grips, drill bit set, hammer drill, level, rubber mallet, tape measure, utility knife, caulking gun, tin snips or scissors, and optional shims. Also, depending on the size of your door, lifting equipment may be required. Before starting, measure the opening width and height and confirm that there's adequate clearance for the door to slide. Using a level, confirm that the opening is square and plumb. Verify that the floor is level in the opening as well as in the slide plane. Determine if the door is to be lagged to the wall or through bolted. In this case, we will show the door being through bolted. Carefully unpack the crate and lay the parts out on the floor. Enclosed will be the header assembly, face casings, mirror casings if ordered, and a hardware box which includes the installation instructions. Identify the leading edge casing. This will be the casing with the rubber gasket installed on it. Put a bead of caulk on the wall side of the face casing nearest the door edge. This should be done to the casings around the perimeter of the opening, ensuring a seal between the casing and the wall. Place the leading edge casing against the wall at the edge of the opening on the closed side. The dowel pins should be facing upward. If applicable, you will also be simultaneously installing the mirror casings on the opposite side of the wall. Temporarily secure the casings using a large C-clamp. Use a level to make sure the casings are straight and plumb. This will aid in aligning the dowel pins, which slip into the header later in the installation. Be sure the vertical casings are aligned with the highest point on the floor, using shims if necessary to move the lower casing up. The casings should be parallel when installed. Permanently attach the lead edge casing to the wall using the fasteners provided. Next, install the trailing edge casing along the trailing edge of the door opening, repeating the steps from the leading edge installation. It's now time to install the header onto the vertical casings. This will require 2 people and may require lifting equipment depending on the door size. For doors with operating systems, we recommend using stabilizers such as a 2x4 cut to fit under the header casing to help support the weight of the operator. Carefully set the header in place, lowering it onto the dowel pins found in the vertical casings. As with the vertical mirror casings, the header mirror casings should be aligned on the opposite side of the wall when applicable. At this point, it may be necessary to adjust the position of the trailing edge vertical casing slightly to align the pins. If adjustment is required, loosen the fasteners on the trailing edge casing and gently tap on the casing to align it with the pins on the header so that it drops into place. Don't forget to retighten the fasteners after adjusting them once this is complete. Check to confirm that the header is level. When doing this, place the level on the top of the header casing and not on the aluminum track, as the track is sloped. There are 2 rows of fastener holes in the header, one going through the track and the other just below it. Drill and install 3/8 inch fasteners in all of the holes. Tighten the fasteners, using caution not to over-tighten and distort the header or mirror casings. Confirm that the vertical casings are still plumb and install any remaining fasteners. Once you've installed all of the fasteners, be sure and clean any debris left in the track from drilling the holes. The next step is to install the door on the track. Starting from either end of the rail, slide the rollers onto the track. Position the hangers at approximately the same distance apart as the studs on the door. Be sure the chain disconnect bracket is between the 2 rollers. Carefully stand the door upright at a slight angle towards the opening, making sure that the recessed pull handle is on the side of the door that will be facing the wall. Remove the nut and top washer only from the studs leaving the Belleville locking washer and bottom nut in place. Insert the studs into the brackets attached to the rollers and put the washer and nut back on. Adjust the top of the door panel so that there's approximately 1/16 inch gap between the inside edge of the panel and the top wear rail. Snug the nuts onto the studs. The next step is possibly the most critical when installing Chase cold storage doors. Unlike traditional cold storage doors with down and in motion, Chase uses a 3-point system which eliminates premature wear of the gaskets. This system consists of 2 rollers and the floor guide, allowing the door to seal properly and operate easily. Next, we are going to install the floor guide. This should be done with the door in the closed position. Place a straight edge under the door so that it's against the edge of the opening. Push the door in towards the wall so that it just touches the wear rail. With the Chase ColdGuard door, you do not force the door tightly against the casings. Slide the floor guide into the channel under the door so that it touches the straight edge. Mark the slotted holes so that the anchor will be installed in the slots as far away from the wall as possible. This will allow you to properly adjust the door for adequate clearance. Drill the floor for wedge anchors at the spots previously marked. Install the anchors into the floor. Tighten the nuts. Following this procedure should give you the correct clearance between the door and the wall and allow for adjustments if necessary. The next step is to adjust the door so that it seals on all 4 sides. Loosen the nuts on the hanger brackets and adjust the door panel so that it seals properly to the leading and trailing edge casings. The door should be parallel to the seals from top to bottom and have consistent pressure. You may need to adjust one or both of the hangers to achieve this. The door should also be adjusted at this point so that there's adequate seal to the floor. If the door needs to be moved up or down, make sure that the adjustment is consistent from side to side, maintaining equal pressure against the vertical gaskets. Once all of the adjustments have been made, make sure that all fasteners are securely tightened. When tightening the nuts on the roller bracket, hold the bracket so that the roller is aligned properly with the track. Check to make sure that the door is sealed on all 4 sides. The top of the trailing edge gasket should now be carefully trimmed so that it notches around the horizontal wear rail. Make the final adjustment to the gasket squares on the leading and trailing edge of the door panel. Both top corners have an adjustable square seal. Loosen the 2 screws and adjust the gasket so that it fits tightly against the wear rails. Remove the 4 fasteners at the top of the door. These will be used for installation of the disconnect assembly. Make sure the disconnect assembly is disengaged from the drive chain so you can align the disconnect bracket with the fastener holes. Once in the correct position, reinstall the fasteners and tighten them securely. Manually slide the door to re-engage the drive chain. Attach the release cable to the disconnect assembly by sliding it through the release lever and tighten the screws. Test the release disconnect by manually opening the door. If it does not release, retension the release cable. Push the door back to the closed position to be sure that the disconnect latches back into the bullet. Now it is time to tension the drive chain. Adjust the tension on the chain by tightening the adjustment nut until the spring is almost fully compressed. The space in between the spring coils should be about the thickness of a dime. Drill a hole for the incoming power through the bottom of the control panel. Use caution when drilling this hole not to hit any of the electrical components inside the cabinet. Install the box connector and run the wires into the opening. Connect the wires to the proper terminals inside the box. All wiring must be done in accordance with applicable electric codes. Attach the wires from the door panel to the header junction box. This installation shows a door that has optional pre-wired plugs that don't require any wiring. If your door is not equipped with this option, you will have to run the wires into the junction box and attach them to the splice plate inside the box. Drill the hole for the pull cord enclosure and fasten it to the wall. Connect the wires to the pull cord switch and reassemble the cord into the enclosure. Freezer door pull cords have a heater to prevent condensation. These switches require that you attach wires to the pull cord as well as the heater. Tie pull cord rope into the eyelet. Be sure to adjust the length of the pull cord rope to desired height. Start with the door in the half open position and turn on the power at the main control panel and then activate the door. The door should begin to open. If it starts to close, then turn the power off and switch the polarity of the motor at the control panel terminals. Turn the power back on and confirm that the door is operating in the correct direction. The door has been set at the factory to open and close to 90% of full travel. You will now need to make the final adjustments. Adjust the limit switches in small increments until the door travel is correct. Be sure that the door opens to clear the opening and closes and seals properly. Cycle the door several times to confirm proper operation. Check the reversing edge operation. When the reversing edge is activated, the door should stop and then reopen. Replace all covers. Cut off excess studs on the mirror casings and install caps. These caps help prevent thermal transfer and provide a cleaner look. Install these caps on the face casings and mirror casings when applicable. Remove any protective coatings on the door. Use a clean cloth to wipe away any grease or debris left from installation. We hope this video was helpful. For more information on Chase products, visit our website at www.chasedoors.com.